What is up, my family? To all you seekers out there, welcome back to the frequency. Let us breathe the breath of life. Feel the dance of the wind. Give gratitude today. Transmuting or releasing emotional resistance. A man teaches what he needs most. I struggle tremendously with, dealing with I guess I just kind of avoid things and emotional resistance builds up to it. And then I overthink everything. And I'm sure a lot of us struggle with this. So this is 2 techniques for doing that thing that you're resistant to, or just kind of releasing these emotional resistance and blockages. So the first technique is, all these are perspective, but to be the passerby, to meditate and not really meditate, all that word is built up with so much bullshit around it, but just breathe, give thanks, and center yourself. Feel, imagine, release thought, and audible thought. Get to your place of peace, right? And realize who we are, what you are. And this thing that you're so resistant to, just release it, okay? You need to recenter yourself into reality. Visualize this existence. All those things in which you built up so much resistance to before, all those past problems, they're just like a lost dream now. Realize you are the passerby. Do not attach yourself to this role you're playing. See, I've realized that your success in this world and your path forward is directly, corresponding to how many uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. How much fear you're willing to face. So that is the path forward and the least resistance. And having those uncomfortable conversations, right? Taking those steps forward in which you don't want to, doing that thing that seems so scary, that's the way forward. And there's 2 ways to go about it. You can go into these things all tense and rigid, force your way through it, put on motivational music and be really tense about it. Or you can go through it graciously, with perspective, with your eyes open, and transmute resistance with gentleness, compassion, and love. Following the way of life. So, center yourself, ground yourself, and realize that all demons rest in the mind, the thoughts. In actuality, things are never as bad as the pain and torment you put yourself leading up to that. The demons rest in your mind. Release the thought. Release the thought. Ground yourself in perspective. I am the passerby. Get to your place of peace. And when you move into action, keep awareness of your breath, right? See how long you can be aware of your breath and maintain that place of peace as you go into whatever you need to do. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a letter. Maybe it's making a video. See, these, oftentimes, I don't know why. I love doing it, but all of a sudden resistance starts building up. And I have great ideas, but then something talks me out of it, right? And essentially this technique and grounding yourself and releasing thought and tapping into the flow of life, this technique is all about releasing these demons, that little voice of resistance that rests in your mind, right? demons rest in your mind. And to transmute this, just get to your place of power, your place of peace, and be the passerby. To be the passerby, get perspective. See eternity before and after this lifetime and how insignificant this is. And even on your own path, this one little blip is nothing. It's nothing. Release it, right? Visualize death. How about negative visualization? Visualize the worst outcome that could possibly happen. And if you face these things now, in the heaven and the haven of your mind, it's so easy out here because you know what to expect. And you can go through it with perspective, breathing fully and aware. The second technique, I find this one tremendously powerful. So when you don't want to do something, you have emotional resistance building up to something. The reason we never act, the reason that all this avoidance creeps up and the thing never gets done, it just builds greater and greater and more resistance and we're attached more to it, is because when it comes into our mind that we should probably go do this right now, we instantly avoid it. We don't like the thought because it makes us anxious, right? So if you can get to this place of peace, this place of power, and then visualize the action as if you were doing it right now. Visualize doing that thing, calling that person, working on that thing, starting that project, whatever it might be that you have resistance to. Visualize doing it, right? And you're going to realize that you go through that emotional battle, all this anxiety creeps up into you as you're just doing it in your mind. Imagine it's for real, right? And then keep doing it, repeating this process, repeating this visualization until you can do it without any response, any reaction, any anxiety to it, because you have found a new perspective. Recycle this thing through your mind, whatever action you must do, until you can do it in your mind with the perspective that transmutes all that resistance. Meaning, if I need to write a letter to somebody, and maybe a lot of bad news, or there's a lot of emotional resistance there, right? I gotta visualize myself writing that letter. Visualize what I'm gonna say to them. And keep repeating this process of writing this letter until I can find a perspective like, hey, this really doesn't matter. I can't control how he responds to this. I could write 5 words, I could write 100 words, and I have no idea what is going to cause the best reaction, right? So all I have to do is just write like from my heart what sounds okay and let it be, because I can't control that shit. And recycle it through your mind until you come at it with a perspective that, damn, this is such a small blip. It's nothing. I'm just going to do this as if it was my own personal challenge of writing this letter right now. And no one else is involved except me, right? So do that action in your mind beforehand. And once you can visualize yourself doing it graciously, you have transmuted all resistance to it, then stand up and without thought, without the demons lurking right in the back of your mind, entering your vision, breathe through it and start. And do it as you visualized it. Maintain this place of peace, this place of power, and be the passerby. These 2 techniques are great for transmuting all resistance, having that uncomfortable conversation, right? Maybe letting go of someone that's toxic in your life. Maybe it's, whatever it might be. For me, a lot of my resistance comes from other people. I'm not great with dealing with emotions. It's probably one of my greatest weaknesses. And then I often avoid things. And I overthink them, and I overthink them, and I overthink them. And it never leads to action, and it just keeps building greater and greater resistance. Bruce Lee once said, if a man thinks too long about something, he will never get it done. So stop thinking about these things. Find your place of peace. Ground yourself in perspective. Visualize the action and transmute with gentleness, compassion, and love. Get these weights off your chest and move on freely. Be the passerby, my friends. That's a quick message on yeah, just transmuting emotional resistance. 2 things. This might be a Matrix life hack, I'm not sure, but hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a beautiful day. I just transmuted a lot of resistance. See the beauty out here? Stay flying, my friends. We are spaceborne. See you guys later.